Hi, this is Lisa Schmid with Stampin' Up! And the Stamper Studio, and I am here to show you how to make the cards for Christmas Card Workshop number 2. Okay, let's get started. So the first first thing you want to do is go ahead and lay out, each card is in a separate bag. So you want to lay out your cards in this order. This is the order we're going to make them. So we're going to make this card first. So here's the card that we're going to make. Let me grab our supplies for that one right here. So that's what you're going to need. And I'll show you how to assemble that, okay? Pile that up there and give you a chance to look at it. There you go. Those are the pieces we'll be using. Like I said, it's all in that bag. So I'm going to go ahead and start with our Cherry Cobbler cardstock and go ahead and fold it in half. And I'm going to use my bone folder, get a nice crease there. And then I'm going to stick on the embossed Cherry Cobbler right on the top. So put some adhesive there. And I'm going to leave a little border. I'm guessing that's a little bit hard to see. You'll be able to see with the white. So I'll show you down here. So I'm going to leave a little border like that. So on the top, there's also that small border. So next, let's go ahead and put this piece on. And like I said, I'm just looking at the border. I'm not concerned about how much this overlaps here. Then we'll take our candy cane. And before I put adhesive on it, I'm just going to double check. Yep, my size is good. Sometimes if it's a little bit too long, I would want to cut it before I stick it on. So we're just going to use that to go ahead and cover up the middle where the two pieces overlap. Then I'm going to take my little die here and just stick it right there. We'll just put that right there. That's from the Hippo dies. And before I stamp anything, I'm going to go ahead and put this white cardstock just on the inside because, of course, we can't write on this. It's too dark. So I'm going to go ahead and stick some cardstock on the inside. Again, what I look at are the 4 edges. Really the 3 edges, because the top one you won't notice as much. Yeah, so when you make yours, thank you, Dave. When you make yours, you want to make all of these, all 5 of these at the same time. Don't follow me and do one by one by one. That would take a really long time. So I would go ahead and make all 5 and then stop the video and then start the video again. So we're going to use this one right here, this May Your Days Be Merry. And there's a little white piece of cardstock, and I'm going to stamp this in Cherry Cobbler. So you could use black, you could use gray. I'm just going to stamp that right there. There we go. May your days be merry. Okay. And you could pop up any part of this. If you want to pop this up, you want to pop this up with dimensionals, you sure could. I'm just going to stick it straight down. Ooh, I smudged it. So when you do that, make sure you let it dry for a second before you try to stick it down. All right, and then I do have them here, 3 little red dots. So you would take your 3 little red dots. I don't see them, but I did have them. That's okay. And go ahead and I put the big one in the middle, and I put the 2 little ones on the edges. It might be in my bucket, and it might turn up as we continue on. So, but go ahead and stick, I put the big one in the middle, and then the 2 little ones on the edge. You can do it, obviously, however you want. That's just how I did it. Okay, and that is card number 1. All right, let's move to card number 2, which is going to be this one right here. This one, you're going to set out, I'll pull out all the supplies for that one. Here we go. So I'm going to start with this littler piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to lay out my strips, I guess, not stripes. I'm going to lay these out, and I'm going to put little ones on the end like this. And of course you can do a different design. You don't have to follow my design, but this is just what I had done. So I'm going from, there we go, and green, and I'm going to do red, and then this. Am I still on? Yes, and then that. Okay, so that is my pattern that I'm going to use. And I'm debating, do I want to, nope, I think I want to leave it just like that. So what I'm going to do is start with the green cardstock, shaded spruce, and I'm going to go across this point. The point is where I'm going to go across, but I'm not going to go across this point. I'm going to go down to the edge about maybe a 1/2 inch in from the edge. Okay, so let's put adhesive on that. We're going to cut off the end so we don't worry about it. But again, I'm going to center the cardstock right in over the corner there. And then this side is going to go about a 1/2 inch inside there. Okay. Do I do adhesive on the cardstock?
Could you just put it on the white and then hang it with it?
No, it gets kind of, you could, I guess it gets kind of sticky and messy. So I prefer to put it on the paper, and then we're just going to keep going, build our way out. That's why we lined these up first. There we go. And see right here, see how there's a tiny corner left, and that's where this is going to go. So actually what I'm going to do is put that under first because I don't want that little corner to fall off. It all depends on where you put your green stripe as to how it's going to stay. So I'm going to line that up there. There we go. I'll flip it over so you can see the other side. And then we're going to end up cutting all this off. So, all right, let's, I guess I can leave it this way. And you could put your adhesive on here. Dave was asking, oh, that's odd, if you could put adhesive on here. I guess you sure could. So line that right up there. Yeah, that works okay. Then you get it all the way to the edge. I gave you plenty of strips. So if you want to change up your pattern, you can do that. Again, see, oh, this one, there's an itty bitty corner left. So I'm going to tuck that under there first before I go ahead and stick the other one on, because that little corner will just flip right off. And in this case, I am going to put adhesive on the strip, lining it up there. There we go. Then you can grab some scissors and you can just cut first, and then we'll use a paper cutter. Stuck to the ground, stuck to the back. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of loosely, if you want to call it that, I'm going to just cut, and I'm not worried about trying to be perfect. I'm just going to trim it, get these gluey pieces off. And one more. All right, then I'm going to grab my paper cutter and trim this nicely so I can get it right to the edge. And if you go over the white a little bit, that doesn't matter. Main thing is you want a nice clean edge. Okay, so let's do that on all 4 sides. Oops, I'll go this way. There we go. And mostly just looking for that straight line, which is why I don't cut it, because I can't cut straight. There we go. All right, so there is our main focal point. So pretty. Now we'll take our cardstock, which this is the extra thick white cardstock. You can feel that it's really quite thick. And we will go ahead and fold that in half. And we're going to go ahead and stick this right here, right in the middle. So, and you can see even on this side, there's a little bit of paper there. That's okay. It's still a straight line. That's what I was going for. I just want it to be straight. Okay. And then we'll take our little die here, and we're going to go ahead and stamp it with the friends and family. You can use any of the stamps that fit. It's okay. You're going to stamp it with this friends and family. And again, I use cherry cobbler. You could use the shaded spruce. You could use black. You could use gray. I'm going to use the cherry cobbler. And you might notice, that this, ooh, that is not good. I'm going to flip it over. Good thing I have more opportunities. Let's make sure I got that. I just ordered a new cherry cobbler pad because this one is old and doesn't seem to be doing so well. There we go. You might notice I was going to tell you on the stamp, see how it's cut funny? If you look at the words, let me pull it off there so you can see it. If you look at the words, it's kind of all cut up. The reason is because I put the sticker on, but then as I was stamping it, I don't like when I get an edge, so then I just take some scissors and cut that out. And I know what it says, so I'm okay that that's not perfectly centered. All right, now this one, if you want to pop this up, you sure can. Or you could glue it flat on. I'm going to make sure, rub my hands off. I don't want to get adhesive all over. I'm going to go ahead and pop up this one a little bit. So that's the one that was messed up, so that's fine. All right. Before I stick it on, I'm going to go ahead and fold my ribbon. So I'm going to fold it like this. Okay, just kind of folding it over like that. I'll show you again. Move that out of the way so you can see. I'm going to fold it because I'm going to trim these, but that's what I want to sit underneath here. Okay, so I'm actually going to stick this on here, but I kind of want to center, see where it's going to go. I want to get it all the way on. I'm going to stick it about there. So I'm just going to put some adhesive underneath, put the ribbon on. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on top just to make sure it stays. And I'm going to go ahead and stick on my, there we go. And then I just need to trim my ribbons and make those look clean and neat and nice. Get that all the way off. There we go. The one last thing we're going to do is add our gold gems. So I just literally just slide them off with my finger. I pull the plastic out like that. These are pretty big, so they're easy to move. That's it. So that is card number 2. All right, let's close up that cherry cobbler so I don't get ink on me. All right, moving on to card number 3. Here is card number 3. I just think it's simple and I think it's very pretty. So let me show you how to make this one. So here's our supplies. I did give you some glue dots, just so you have some for the ribbon. Oops, there is one right there. It just came off. Let me stick it back in there. There we go. All right. So you have 2 pieces of white cardstock. One's for the inside, one is for the front. So let's go ahead and make this one. First thing you're going to do is fold the shaded spruce in half where it's scored. And get my bone folder. There we go. Now, one thing I notice, and I'm not sure you can see it here. You'll be able to see it when you're making it. This one is a little bit sticking out a little bit further than this side. So I'm going to flip it over so that's the front, because then you don't notice that sticking out. I don't think you can see it on the screen as much, but if yours is like that, you'll know what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and put the Whisper White on the front. Right there. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and put the Whisper White in the inside. Because again, the shaded spruce is much too dark to try to write on, in my opinion. Plus, I just think this gives it a nice touch, makes it look cleaner. All right, so far we have that. Excellent. We're going to take our banners, a couple banners here, and you can use either side you want. I'm going to use the green, and I'm going to stick the red there, and then I think I'll do that one like that. That's kind of what I'm going for. So I'm going to start with the green one, and again, like I said, you can use either side. Pardon me?
Start with the largest one.
Yes, I did start with the largest one, thanks. And I'm going to go about 1/4 inch from the edge all the way up to the top. There we go. And then I'm going to go to the red one, or the medium size one, and let's stick that one. This one, I want to overlap it so that this about halfway, I'm about halfway in where I can see the green cardstock. So I'm about half, or designer series paper, so I'm about halfway, go all the way up. There we go. And then I will take the smallest one and I'm just going to kind of stick it in the middle. like that. There we go. It looks pretty. Now we're going to go ahead and stamp on our white story label punch. And I'm going to use the Peace on Earth. Okay, I'm going to use this one. I just need the story label punch. That's all. Thanks. Peace on Earth. Thank you. It's nice to have a handy assistant, I'm telling you. I'm going to use this big block, even though it's bigger than what I want. Okay, so I'm going to use the Peace on Earth and the shaded spruce. And I gave you a white. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp on that in our shaded spruce. Spruce. There we go. Oops, my P did not come out. Boy, let's try again. There we go. Peace on Earth. And then we're going to layer the shaded spruce behind it like this. Okay, it makes it pop up from the white a little bit. So let's go ahead and first thing I'm going to do, oh, there's my white, is put adhesive on the top part or part of that. Doesn't matter which side you do first. And then overlap it like this. Okay. And then I'm going to flip it over and put adhesive on here to stick on the other one. I love the story label punch. I think it is just very, very pretty. Okay, then we're ready to go ahead and stick this on right here. Again, pop it up, stick it on flat, whichever you like. But I'm going to stick it above this little notch. And then the last thing we're going to do, close up my ink. Can you tell I put my fingers in my ink many times? We're going to take the ribbon. Now, I left you a really long piece of ribbon so that if you had extra, you could use it. So you just start from one end, leave it long, and go ahead and tie it, and then cut it. So that's what I would do. I wouldn't cut first. I would tie and then cut. And I don't like to pull it too tight because I kind of want it to look like that. So, and I'll grab my glue dot and go ahead and stick on my ribbon, and then I can trim it. There we go. Okay, and that's it. That is card number 3. All right, the last card we're going to make. And remember, I hope you're stopping and making them all at the same time, because that's really what you need to do. Otherwise, it takes a long time to make them. All right, so this is our last card that we're going to make. And so let's go ahead and get started on that. These are the supplies for this one. I try to really make it convenient that we can put with the bags and the supplies in the different bags. I think it really helps. So go ahead and fold your shaded spruce. Okay. And we're going to turn it this way, actually. First thing we're going to do is adhere our designer series paper, the trees, and I'm leaving a border on all 3 sides, on the 3 sides. Now again, look, you could use that red. That sure is pretty. Either one would look stunning. I kind of like the trees because this is embossed with trees. So I think that's really pretty. The trees come out. That would be the right side. It doesn't really matter, but that's how it would be. Go ahead and stick on your embossed paper, and I'm going to center it right in between these two, and I'm going to have the edge. So this edge is kind of the same as that edge, and then I'm centering it on that designer series paper, just like that. Oh, I have to do one thing before I do that. Stop, don't do that. That's okay, I'll pick it back up. We're going to stamp on this vellum cardstock. Now, you can stamp on it using StazOn. If you don't have StazOn, I would probably skip the vellum, because if you use any other kind of ink, it just will come off, and you don't want that to happen. So let's see. Yep, that's inked. So StazOn is the one that will stay. I'm going to stamp it kind of in the middle, because I'm going to wrap the ends. There we go. Let it dry for a second there. we're going to wrap the ends around the white that I just stuck down. So I'm actually going to peel that back up. Hopefully you didn't do that. Well, I'm just going to peel up that part because that part stuck really well. All right, and I want to put adhesive on the two ends of that, and you'll see why in a second. So I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to wrap it. I got glue from that last card. Okay, and I'm going to, I really do, I just want to pull this off. There we go. And I'm going to wrap this, get the Christmas blessing so I can still see the trees really well, and then just fold it behind it. Give it a good crease. And then I look here to see is it straight. I don't really want it crooked, so I try to make it somewhat straight, and then fold this side back. There we go. Now I'm going to put adhesive back on this because I did pull it up, but I definitely want to put adhesive where the vellum is. Okay, there we go. Back on track. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is take my copper, and again, you should have a really long piece, so again, I would not cut. I would make your bow first and then cut. Now, I tend to make bows like this. 2 little bunny ears, and then go like that. That's how I make them. And then I fiddle with them a little bit to make sure I've got it the way I want it to be. My fingers are probably covering what you want to see. Okay, so I can just turn the ribbon just like that. I'm going to turn this because I want this to be flat. There we go. Got it. All right. So that looks pretty. I make it a little bit smaller. You have much more ribbon than I do, so you've got plenty to work with. And I'm going to take a glue dot, which since I don't have one handy, I will just make one out of some adhesive. This adhesive I can make a glue dot out of. There we go. And go ahead and stick it on your ribbon. You have plenty of glue dots. And stick on your bow. There we go. The last thing we're going to do is stick on the star. So I put the star at the top of the tallest tree. And again, I slide it off, or you can also, if you have your picker, take a pick. It's called a picker. You could use that as well. Okay, look how pretty that is. I'm just going to trim my little, there we go. And then the last thing you're going to do is put that white piece of cardstock on the inside, again, so you can write a nice message to your friends or family or whoever you're sending your card to. There we go. All right, so I'll pull these back here. These are our 4 cards. You're making 5 each of 4 different designs. So there are cards. So thanks. I hope you enjoyed making them. And you've got envelopes. You could always stamp a little bit on the envelopes if you wanted to. So I hope you enjoyed making that. And I look forward to stamping with you again. Happy stamping.